Hello and welcome back to Norin Reads. Today I will be reviewing Silver Surfer number 7 from the 1987 series. This issue was written by Steve Englehart, penciled and colored by Marshall Rogers, and inked by Joe Rubinstein. This issue is entitled Triangle, and it opens with the Silver Surfer arriving at Zen Law, having been called there by Shalabal in the previous issue. Kree forces have threatened to invade Zen Law, and the Silver Surfer is there to keep his promise to Shalabal and the people of Zen Law and protect them. So he immediately begins to attack the Kree ships. They defend themselves, but their weapons aren't really designed to fight the Surfer, and they haven't really had time to design weapons to fight the Surfer because he hasn't really been in this conflict very long. After the Surfer takes down 2 of their attack ships, he enters one of the ships and speaks to one of the Kree officers. The Kree officer on board assumes that the Surfer must want something because the Surfer is not a braggart. He's not there to show off his victory. The Surfer tells the Kree commander that he has warned the Skrull to leave Zen Law alone, and now he is officially warning the Kree to leave Zen Law alone. He says that both sides have launched attacks on his world and they've failed. He doesn't bear animosity to either side, but if either side attacks his world again, there's going to be repercussions. The Kree officer understands, but he explains to the Surfer that he doesn't make these decisions, it's the Supreme Intelligence or the Supremor. The Surfer then decides to deliver the message to the Supremor himself on Kreelar. As the Surfer exits the Kree ship, he is reminded about how far Kreelar is from Zen Law. Surfer reminds the Kree that he is meant to roam the spaceways. The Surfer gives the Kree a chance to get his ship in proper order so he can tow him into space and away from Zen Law, and the Surfer goes off to speak to Shalabal. The Surfer addresses Shalabal as Empress, and she tells him he doesn't need to do that. He says, well, it's your title, you've earned it. She replies, but this is Shalabal, the one who loves you. And the Surfer responds, not the only one now. This kicks off a sort of dramatic soap opera-esque relationship argument between the two, but I think it works. I think it expands the emotional elements of both of these characters. So she replies, what? And Surfer says, I'm sorry, that was childish. I've been acting childish often of late, but it seems when it comes to romance, I remain a child. Who is she? It doesn't matter. What you and I had is finished. Of course it matters, Norin. I love you. I had to put my duty first. I know that. I understand that. I didn't turn to Mantis in reaction to anything you did. Mantis? Some bug woman? Never mind. You could have waited. I've waited too long. I've tarried here too long. I go now to complete my protection of Zen Law. She accuses him of becoming the unfeeling person he was as the Herald of Galactus. He says, if I was still that person, I wouldn't be here protecting Zen Law. The Surfer flies away and Shalabal remains crying. Over on Earth, Mantis has transferred her consciousness from plant to plant and she now emerges from a tree on Earth and she goes to spy on the Elders. Most of the Elders there have gathered except for Ego because he's a planet, the Contemplator because he's off on a mission, which I'll discuss momentarily, and the Obliterator, which they don't know where he is right now, but we know he was defeated by the Surfer in previous issues. They begin discussing their plan to gather 6 what they call soul gems, and they're going to gather these soul gems, and with their power they can destroy Galactus. They've managed to acquire 5 of them, and the Contemplator is off on a mission, negotiating to get the 6th. While they're discussing their plan, the Grandmaster points out why he chose to have this meeting in the tropical zone because they expected Mantis or Surfer to arrive, so the Gardener begins to use his ability to control plants to attack Mantis. They engulf her, they grab her, vines crawl into her ears and in her nose and start suffocating her. She's unable to transfer her consciousness, she's unable to break free of these plants. She says, wait, only one chance, a very long chance. Then we see this beacon of energy fly from her forehead. It flies through space to Zen Law and it streams past Shalabal, and she hears something, the word Mantis. She believes that she heard the plants say it, but she's confused because plants don't speak, and she convinces herself that she must just have Mantis on the brain because of the argument she had with the Surfer recently. The Surfer arrives on Kreelar and he is met by their security forces orbiting the planet. They tell him if he is there to speak to the Supremor, that's fine, they will allow his passage, but if it's anything else, he should be prepared to fight. The Surfer likes the Kree mentality because he doesn't see them as extremists. They're a little less fanatical in their beliefs. If they are defeated in battle, they will strategically retreat. They know when to give up. So he seems to enjoy dealing with the Kree more so than the Skrull. Even here, when he meets their defense forces and they are reasonable, he makes note that it's nice not to be dealing with extremists. The Surfer descends to the surface and flies to what's called the Hall of Judgment, where he speaks to the Supreme Intelligence, or the Supremor. The Surfer tells the Supremor that he has warned the Skrull, and he is now officially warning the Kree to leave Zenn-La out of their war because he will protect Zenn-La, and if they involve themselves with that planet, they are involving themselves with him. The Supremor agrees to leave Zenn-La alone, noting that since Galactus destroyed it, it's not really a military target because of its lack of technology. It's not of interest to the Kree. The Supremor asks the Surfer if there's anything else, and he says yes, while I do not have a special place in my heart for this planet, I have become sympathetic for the people of Earth. So I want you to leave Earth out of your dealings as well. The Supremor cannot agree to this, noting the fact that Earth has produced more extraordinary beings than any other planet in the cosmos. It was chosen by him to do experiments which created the Inhumans. He also notes that there was an underground war raged against him by the plant life that they exiled from Kree, which is the Kotati, so he cannot leave Earth alone. The Surfer warns the Supremor that if he cannot agree to these terms, he will align himself with the Skrull against him. The Supremor responds, "If you can," and he shoots a beam from his forehead attacking the Surfer. The Surfer looks like he's resisting the attack for a moment, but he quickly falls down and he doesn't get back up. The Supreme Intelligence Chief Coordinator Ninora was present for these events, and she asks, "What did you do?" The Supreme Intelligence then explains that he stole the Silver Surfer's soul. He explains that since he has not been able to revitalize the Blue Kree, he had to absorb the minds of Pink Kree, and since there is this racism between the Pink and Blue Kree, he had to have an external power source to control them. One of his patrols found the Soul Gem, and by using the power of this Soul Gem, he is able to make the Blue and Pink Kree minds live together harmoniously and not drive him insane. And this is why the Supremor will not trade this gem to the Contemplator, who is revealed to be there. This is the mission he was sent on, to barter with the Supreme Intelligence to try to get this gem. Now that is not going to happen, and the Supremor explains to the Contemplator that him and his elders are going to have to proceed with their plan with the 5 gems that they have. But at least neither one of us will have to worry about the Silver Surfer ever again. I really enjoyed this issue. I feel like it moved quickly and progressed the story at a nice pace. There's been so much work done in the first 6 issues to get to where we are now. It's great to see that we can kind of go full steam ahead and progress this story. It's interesting to see the Surfer have to contend with emotions and these interpersonal dynamics and relationship dynamics because he's not really been that man before. So it's interesting to see him struggle and try to find balance with his emotions and not act childish like he said he has been. We got a different idea of the Surfer's power level in this issue, showing the fact that he can just fly through Kree ships and destroy them. Usually we just see him going toe-to-toe with powerful beings, and now he's going up against alien races, yes, but alien races without any superpowers. So we're really getting a new grasp of his power level and how extremely high it is. I'm fairly certain that there's going to be a conflict between the Supremor and the Elders now over this Soul Gem, because the Supremor is now effectively in the way of the Elders' goals. So I'm interested to see what story develops there and how that affects the overall Kree-Skrull war. Once again, I want to thank you for listening to this series. I have a lot of fun doing this, and I hope that you're out there enjoying it. So thank you again, and we'll see you out there on the cosmic spaceways.